Welcome back to Visionary Ventures, the Kalbustani podcast. Today, we're delighted to welcome Mouna Moussi, a visionary in the realms of business growth and innovation consulting. With a robust background in aviation and tourism, Mouna has transitioned from corporate executive to a leading independent expert, impacting diverse array of sectors. Join us as we explore her multifaceted approach to personal and professional growth. First of all, Mona, thank you so much for being here. It's a true pleasure to have you with us on the podcast. It's good to see you again. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I like your introduction about me. I want to steal it to introduce myself like this sometimes.
Yeah, I wanted to englobe all your journey, basically. You have a long and exciting journey that was hard to summarize it.
What I like about what you did, the way you summarized this, because it is difficult a little bit when you do many things, your expertise, jobs, or whatever we exercise in our professional lives, and then people are meeting you in a certain phase of your life. They want to know who you are, and you need to put it in a very simple, clear way, and yet it recaps who you are without, taking parts of who you are. So it takes an exercise to do that.
Exactly. 100%. So starting with back in the days when you transitioned from corporate executive to an independent consultant, it must have been really mentally challenging for you. How did you manage this shift, and what mental strategies have you found most effective?
So the main part that drives changing professional life, especially from being employed, though when we are executives, we're not just employed like as if we're counting on someone else and we're not responsible. We're actually leading organizations and teams and businesses and EBITDA and you name it. The main motivator is exactly what's in your heart. So what do you want to do with your life and where do you want to be in the future is actually what with the main driver and the basics for that, because there is a lot of risk at stake, so many things to look at. So this is the main thing that drives that one. So the second part is actually going through the exercise of asking yourself, what do you want to do? What you are good at? What would the people, the public, the audience would want to take from you? And actually pay for it. Like I'm just
Which is your why?
In a very simple form. Sorry?
Which is your why, basically, right?
Yes. So it's an evolution. So along the way, it's always questioning what you're doing. And because being in the corporate world and then moving on your own also requires different set of skills and maybe other certifications and a very focused let's say list of services. It depends what's the business that you're, creating or product or something like that. So really a focused way of looking, what am I offering? That too is important. So those three things are kind of basic and having the strength and the courage to continue with the commitment and all of that.
Nice. And would you really? Yeah, the other part was what are the strategies that were effective in your mental challenges? Because leaving the corporate world, the safety net, the comfort zone, and then starting on your own. This is the real challenge.
So this is it's a challenge that doesn't go like totally 100% because like riding the business world on your own, and you're never on your own. You have teams, you may have investors, partners, but yet you are the one who's leading this organization. You want to make it sustainable, profitable, and also appreciated by the clients. All right. So there are values, the whole these things. So this ride of being on your own has its mental weight and challenge. How do you use this mental challenge, like negatively or positively, or where is this challenge coming from? Sometimes it's a real challenge or a real thing that you need to look at. Okay, then you address it. But at the same time, always thinking broadly that I'm on my own. I need to be productive. I need to have clients. Is my strategy okay? Where do I go to find peace and safety net? Is exactly the first thing I told you. Why did I start this? What am I doing now? What have I done so far? If I had started 1 year ago or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, and acknowledge what was done. So first acknowledge how I started it, what I built from it, me and my team as well. And that gives also a certain safety net. Yet, of course, if you are being successful and having good feedback from your clients, that also helps. Yet also the main challenge is not that. So it's like your ambitions versus the safety net, being paid and the corporate world and being on your own. So you want to gain the same way you gained before. I'm not just talking finances, everything. You have this global access, this power. Because when you are an executive in a global company, present in like 170 countries, then you are on your own and you want to be present in like 10 countries as a start, or maybe 5, or. So that also is a main mental challenge, how you evaluate your own self, whichever point in this timeline. So the mental
I can
challenge is
relate to
always
what you
there.
are actually saying in terms of your internal struggles and challenges, and how you come from a multinational and now you have certain aspirations and ambitions of, yeah, I want to level up. I want to go back to the international stage and be present on my own with my team and work on that level. So it's really challenging, and it creates a bit more, I believe, frustrations and inner struggles. So what you're talking about is 100% like something that everyone can get into. Is it only the why that really gives you this perseverance and continuation, or do you do like any, I don't know, maybe psychological help from someone, practices in a way? Uh, can someone push you further to give you that resilience? Do you listen to a podcast? I don't know. What can push you
So,
and give you the
so the
drive?
challenge, yeah. So like learning stuff along the way in my life helped me directly and indirectly. It wasn't because of the business. So actually, even my quest to be on my own was related to what lifestyle do I want to lead in life. I left my corporate world not because I wasn't successful or wasn't paid great or wasn't offered stuff. I actually, because I said, if I don't do it now, Mouna Moussi, when will I do it? And I just jumped off the cliff, and I actually didn't have a clear business plan. I knew I had talents and a set of things without telling a long story. Yet, like, I made the jump and I said, I'm going to make my choices the same way, because even in my professional life, I've changed many times, and in my personal life or location. So I'm someone who takes that risk or ride this wave in a certain way. So that helps. Yet, so all these tools or extra tools, they help me in life regard, and I didn't do them because of professional decision. It was more about, I was seeking stuff always in life, and I still do. And I realized I require more than sometimes talking to somebody or sitting on my own or doing sports, or you know what I mean, or doing a yoga or a massage. There was something, a quest, an internal
I'm
quest. So
gonna
that
go.
I
I'm gonna get
started
there in a few.
doing.
I know you
Yes.
do.
So yet for the business aspect strictly, actually, I'm very pragmatic. So what helps me is being pragmatic, but also courageous, not to have fears, yet also to question things and take few steps. Okay, so if problems are like, like challenges, exactly like wins. So not to take it personal, but yet not personal, and also seek mentorship. The same way I work with others, I want I want people to inspire me, to give me things. So yes, I listen, I read, but also I want people to look at my business and dissect it with me and tell me like, Mouna, there's this, there is that, and explore. So this is my way of shifting a moment where that could be daunting into something else. Yet sometimes I've learned also to live this downturn. Okay. So one of my bad things in life, not bad, because I'm someone in my personality could be called impatient. Okay. So I learned a lot about
I
patience
am
and
also.
patience in business. Okay. So what is patience in business? It's not sitting like as if like a stupid person and waiting for things to fall. Yet also knowing when to take the steps that you want to take, when to seek, when to push, when to chase, and when to say also no for something you already wanted. So this
And
selection
when to let
process
go
also
as well.
never to be. Yes. So also if you are a small business and growing and you're seeking a certain partner, let's say that's of a big size, great, great results if you work together. So sometimes it's always about also a selection process. So that relates to how you establish also your business and your idea. Your values are going to give you this basis of strength, when to say yes and when to say no, regardless of your size and this challenge of being an entrepreneur on your own. Okay? For being global, strong, profitable, etc. So I always go back to the basics, like how did I build my business and why actually did I start on my own? Because I wanted to create impact when I do business, not just create good stuff for me. I want to create good stuff for others. So that we can talk about that, because this is an amazing path in life.
We will.
So actually it helped me in my personal life, rather vice versa. I can talk a lot, so stop me, ask me, and I just
Yeah, I
so
was
yes.
intrigued about the movement, the sports, the activities, and the stuff that you do on the side. Because given the demands of your career, how do you prioritize your physical health?
It's it's a priority. Like my health is a priority, and it's not selfishness. I would advise everyone to take care of themselves. And taking care of ourselves is like giving time to ourselves, because if we are nourished, if we are good inside our body and mind, we can be that reflects even without talking. And when we're talking or when we're doing business or socializing or loving people or fighting with people, even when fighting or you're angry, you'll be different the way you are in situations. So being well is also very important. And I know some people could be looked at as privileged because they have the time, or let's say they can invest in it. Yet I think everyone has the choice to keep a certain time for themselves. And I do that. I do that now, even with more awareness, and I actually give it to others. I want the others who work with me to be well and good, because that contributes better for what you're doing. So sports is key for me. I die without sports. So whether this is attachment or not, I love the pain that comes from sports. But it doesn't have to be that extreme. I love nature, so the wind, so that, sometimes I'm blocked. I don't have ideas that I need to create now for my business. I jump in the sea and something changes. So it's that simple. So for someone else, it could be something else. Okay. So also in the course of my life, I've learned many techniques or tools, or I've learned about myself actually more than the tools. It helped me to, okay, I like this way. So to honor that about me, whatever
Which
it
kind
is,
of
and
tools
give
are we
it to
talking
myself.
about?
When I started learning stuff,
Yeah, can you
the
tell us a bit
first,
about these tools?
yes, so there is one main thing you actually know about was when I started learning about the energy world. Me, that once you told me energy, I would laugh like I'm the science person, 1+1 = 2, or maybe equal 3. But yet, what is this? So that became as an exploration. Actually came from something that my body, I felt weak in a certain phase of my life, though there was nothing wrong with me. And that triggered me to ask questions. I don't want to take Panadol or whatever it is so that I would feel better. This triggered stuff in my head. And that was the start of me talking to my body. So I don't want to talk a strange conversation on this podcast that's more about business way yet, because
It's
there
not.
is a
It's
language
about
for our
you.
bodies that I, yeah, I know. Okay, okay, thank you. So, so I've learned about talking to my body in a different way, the same way I've learned even knowing about myself more, and that helps me now to know more about the others that I connect with. So I know what is pain. So pain when my body reaches a certain, like, Muna, now this you have to change it, but I don't listen to it. So I don't know, I get dizziness. That's it. So I've
So you
learned
have learned to
how to
connect
live with that.
with your body and to listen to your body in different ways. And this is where you started listening to what's happening inside of you and understanding the source, the cause, and the treatment, right?
Yes. And even something better than that. That was the great discovery of Mouna Moussi, is that it's not complicated. So there is no magic about it. If someone comes and say magic, okay, maybe it's magic because you can shift things. The moment you are aware about certain things, we can shift them if you want to just shift them, even if it's pain. Okay. So yes, this language helped me a lot. So I actually, even while being an entrepreneur and the corporate world, I took certification and became a facilitator related to energy work. Okay. So, and gave classes and opened a business in that. So, is this sound from me? Okay, I heard something like music. All right.
No, there
So,
was
in the
an
open,
ambulance passing.
okay, okay. So, so even opened a business related to that because I wanted to. It was one of the first in Lebanon talking about these kinds of energy work. So to
So tell us a
share
bit
more
about
about.
these energy work. What is it really about? And what did you do? What did you learn on a personal basis? So we understood the connection and the facilitation, but what is it and how did it help you on a personal and human level?
So I do access bars. So can explain quickly later, but then it's inner energy work. So you touch the body in a certain way, yet with this working on the energy of the body of someone else, of someone doing this for me, or without even touching the body. And it's actually shifting blocks in the body, like, because the way we are made, born, and brought up in our family societies, somehow we gather in things in our nervous systems, in our bones that do not work for us. And then while we are living, we all try to unlearn things, let's say, or to change stuff. But these stuff, when they are there and they don't work for us, we feel things. Either we are angry, or we're not good, or we're depressed, or pain. So this channeling of things shifts those things. So everyone, when I did it, how did I do it? So I am someone who doesn't read manuals as a start. I see something, it tells me something, I go try it. So I did 2 sessions with someone and I felt like, wow, I want to do it again. And then like, wow, I want to learn it. And then I took everything they had as courses and I started also teaching while practicing. So I walk the talk. So I applied it on my body. So the same way some people meditate, I actually can sit and shift things for myself. That's it. And I do it for other people. So sometimes I offer sessions when I have time, and sometimes here where I live, I do it as a like gifting back to the community, because it helps with the stress if people are anxious. So yes.
So it's safe to say that you're spiritually and physically attuned and you focus on taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual levels. And I love that you combine all of these aspects and you work on them on a daily basis. But that leads me to being intrigued about a regular day in the life of Mouna Moussi is what exactly? Can you paint a picture of how I don't know, what's your daily
So
routine?
I can. I can. So I'm gonna surprise you. But before I answer that, you said 2 words that triggers me in a good way. So you said daily, that you do, as if I do this daily. And the other thing, spiritual. Yet it could be I am spiritual, but I don't see myself as spiritual. And even if whatever I do for me, it's a way, it's a lifestyle, it's a knowledge, it's a knowing. This is how I see things. And number two, daily. Honestly, the only daily thing that I do that is clear, of course, I breathe. I focus like, what do I want to do today? And I keep space for surprises.
When you say breathe, it's breathing exercises, or it's
I added the breathing exercises since this week because I felt, okay, this is gonna do well. But actually breathe, but breathe live, wake up with presence, not wake up melted or, yeah, like really, today, I'm here. What will I do? So starting like this, that's something that I do daily. Of course, there are things that I might have to do. I make sure I have them, but I keep space for other things. And sometimes my day is triggered or changed. So what else can I do? So the basic things is the spirit. How do I start my day? It's the spirit of how I start my day. I do definitely sport. That this is the basic. And usually I try to do it in the morning, very early.
What kind of sports? What do you do?
So it changes, yet I do weight training a lot and everything related to indoors. It doesn't have to be weight or, but anything where you have mobility, where you have strength, where you have physical intensity, I do that. And I like outdoors, so it could be stand-up paddle, but it could be both. But I need like my, 1 hour, 1 hour 15. That's how I start. This is basic. The rest is about,
and this is
what
daily.
do I have to do today and what else can I create? Sorry.
And this is a daily practice, right? Every day you have an hour and something just to do your physical exercises, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
When I do physical exercises, is physical and I enjoy it, but also sometimes the way I am, I do create stuff while I'm training, sometimes while I'm running as well, because I think of something, I check it while maybe taking a break. So the process of creating something, if we're talking in a business world or even as a social world, doesn't stop unless we stop it. And how do we use it while we are enjoying it? Like, it's not a forceful thing. So for me, sometimes I'm doing work while I'm having fun. And sometimes I'm very serious about it and just me and my desk and, closed doors. Yeah. So that's the main thing that I do. But my business day and usual stuff are, there should be movement in my day and there should be learning in my day and working with clients, like seeking projects. This is basics.
So so it's a fair share of division and diversification of activities and personal matters that you do on a daily basis. And you said that you're not really a spiritual person, and I'm really intrigued. If really spirituality or personal philosophy influence your approach to business and leadership?
So whatever you're calling spirituality, I think you mean by it the way I look at the internal and external stuff, right?
Exactly.
So the personal growth. Okay. So how much that, of course, like, it's key because values are key. And any business without values, I think, in a certain way, is set to failure, whatever is failure for that business. And what are values? Nowadays, we talk about actionable values. So when I work with businesses and organizations, and when we're changing things, and even my own business, we have values, actionable values that you as a client or as a partner or an employee are going to feel them. You're going to read them and understand, but even without reading them, you're going to see them by me and whoever is working on my behalf, how they are translatable in the service, in the scope, in the consulting, the training, and the mentorship advice. So, and that comes from all this, from also my aspiration about the world and how we do business, like even from my aviation world. Why did I want, now I'm expanding into the aviation world again, because I see where things are stagnant And I want to add these values somewhere with the business aspect, like how these values can bring you money.
You can't go far from
So
the
many
business,
things.
from the aviation business, can't you?
Is correct?
You can't move afar from the aviation sector.
I love it. I have passion for it, and I still do. I'm
We-
always
We're we're gonna get into that in a few. Just I'm really intrigued about what you just said about your values and beliefs, and these spiritual beliefs and values surely are impacting your professional decision making in a way. And like you said, you can feel it, you can understand it, you can sense it as a client. But can you discuss a time where they came in handy and they helped you in a challenging period or in any decision making matter?
Yes, for example, maybe I was approached by a partner to do business together, and what's that type of partnership, and who are we servicing with, or what's the formula we're talking about for us and for our clients, and even the way they are going to represent my services, let's say, okay? And maybe I know them, or maybe I don't know them much, so I do my own research or think. So if there is something fishy around these people, I choose not to, though the business deal could be great and the prospects for growth could be great, or I do take into the consideration these values, So for me, it matters what's the impact of what we're creating. Okay, what's the echo of that? What's the project about, or who are the clients we are working with?
Okay.
So if it doesn't tackle with my own personal sometimes, or it has a certain, I don't know,
Exactly.
let's
So
say
it's
this.
about alignment. So it's about alignment and having the right values, shared values, and from both parties. And I believe that's a key principle to abide with. I wanted to get a bit deeper into what you call spirituality, and every person has its own definition of spiritual stuff. It can be religious, it cannot be religious, it can be on a deeper level than that. However, it's always humane. So you spoke about these values and beliefs. I'm interested to understand them a bit better. What is your spiritual realm about as Mouna Moussi?
Uh, so first, and if we're talking like, of course, when you're working with clients and partners, there is something about accountability and readiness and authenticity and actually delivering what you promised to deliver. So these aspects are definitely there as values. Okay. So, and it's not even just that, it's about, creating a successful, let's say, result or successful partnership. So that is also, and what is that success for this partner? Then it can be also defined part of, service level agreement. So it could be for my own company and it could be for joint projects together. But then what could be those values, and if they're spiritual, religious, where do they come from? They come from a mold of experiences. I worked with top companies of the world from various regions, like from these, listed on NASDAQ companies and covering the region, working with top clients. And you see how, and it's not wrong, like I don't judge, I see how the world is functioning, but how the importance, it's always about the financial result. And then there is this big structure that has been created for the last 20 years. And then there are these people in those positions. So all of this comes always in these companies and corporate world above whatever else values and clients and actually the actual business we are doing. And that never satisfied me. So I was heading some of these companies. So for me, that I don't do anymore. So this comes also from my professional experience, one. Also from my own personal and social experience, because I've always liked to do good around me. Like I believe whatever I'm privileged of, why can't I share it? Or if I can have time to teach someone or learn, give to people and enjoy them succeeding. So that also comes from there. But yet I have put it in a way that works in my business format, not just my life. Because when you are on your own, living on your own, you don't always need to explain. You're not bound to explain to people. Yet when you're putting it in a business form, people want to understand, what is this? What are you telling me? So you are forced in a way, which is a pleasure for me, to explain, what do you mean by this? Who you are? What do we do? How do we do it? What will you receive from this? And what could be the possibilities if you be this and this and this? So there are extra. So it comes also from that. So from my professional experience, from my own personal quest in life. And also because of this process and journey, it's so rewarding that you cannot stop. So you want to create more for you and for others and for companies. And actually, this is why I did not create the word actionable values. It was created by business people before me because they see that in the world and in the business world. And they teach it to others. Same way we talk now about waste or so many things that are actually easy to have in our business world, but then we have to do them collectively. And how can we spread that? It's also an education process of how to do business in the world, either corporate or personal or startups, whatever.
Thank you for this mini trip into the values and human and business, where they meet in between these beliefs. And I hope that a lot of businesses will abide by these principles. And talking about these business attributes and principles, let's start by understanding a bit better who is Mouna Moussi, and on a business level, what do you do? What do you offer?
On a business level, yes, like to be also very, very brief, let's say there are three pillars in the business that I offer. Mostly one is like the business growth advice. So any business that is growing and wants to grow, and growth could be so many things or a variety of things, geographically, financially, team-wise, or just relooking at the business pillars. So I do that. And I work with companies around the world and different industries. So I build up the experience. Number two is executive development. So I give trainings to executives, leadership strategies, and it depends on what the customer wants. So usually this means training and facilitation for small groups or bigger groups. And number three, I put it as consulting because it's very much into the depths of my expertise in the tourism, innovation, and the aviation world, where I do consulting or actually doing those two things, but more into the aviation world. So reshuffling things in a way that serves the aviation world. And I want to, like, one thing on my plan, like the way I grow is I add partners. I work with global partners. But also one of my things that I want to do is provide retreats, but not the way retreats I see so far, retreats for professionals, where they learn the same way we're having this conversation, but in a different way, where I want to offer business expertise. And it's not just me. I want to partner with people, but I'm still looking for people where we can like sit together and say, yes, we can do this and we can work together. Okay, I'm looking for it. So to do that for the business world. But I haven't done that. But this would be my fourth pillar. Oh, I don't know which year. I thought it would be next year, but I haven't found a partner yet.
Upcoming soon. If any partner is listening to us and he or she fits the criteria, please reach out to Mouna and do this fourth pillar with her, and let's level up the business at offering. So Mouna,
Yes.
you were talking about
Can
your
I
business, and go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Now I have
Not at all.
answer for your first question. You see those four things that I
First question, or which question?
Yes, the first question about this mental challenge of jumping from corporate to business.
Okay.
When you create these took time, these took effort, took choices, meetings, knowing me, and trusting what I'm giving to the others, and listening and listen and listen. these, when I think of like, look what I've done, Mouna Moussi. So it gives me the strength to continue because I always have this monkey mind because I could be employed and paid this amount of money per month and I don't know, have access to things while not have the time to do what I do. So that brings me back to standing on my feet and saying, oh, okay, next, like take it step by step. So just to answer again.
I'm glad that we covered it now. Okay. But moving on to the next question then. Going back to your business side, you spoke about consulting and working with different multinational businesses and entrepreneurs. What are the core principles that guide you in your consulting practice, especially when advising on growth strategies and business development? How do you shift your strategies? What are the fundamentals that you rely on?
With my clients?
Yes. I know it's a case by case thingy, but is there a starting point that helps you in crafting growth strategies?
There's always a starting point, a conversation, and listening to the other side. And of course, it depends on the personality of the company or the group or the person I'm talking to. Is because sometimes they talk, they're not. Then you need to like encourage them to come up with things. So ask certain questions that are easy to answer and dig in from there. Yet actually a conversation and listening well first. And you get a lot of information. And from there you can just structure the path of how do we do, what do we want. Yet, of course, some people come to you with a clear demand that helps it in a way. But also you need to listen and again, because sometimes they want something, actually they want something else. Or they want like a zillion things. Okay, let's, that's the basic way.
And how do you adapt your strategies? Yes, go ahead. There's a small lag, I believe, in the audio.
Sorry. So within current clients, of course, it could be different. There's always also a structure with this familiarity. So there could be stuff ready to ask to start from a conversation or a meeting or a consultancy. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So talking about these consultancies and strategies, how do you adapt them to ensure that they are effective across the diverse cultural landscapes of the aviation and tourism industries?
Okay, if you're talking about the aviation and tourism industry, like strategies at the end, what are strategies? Strategies is not something unreachable. It's not a cloud. Okay, it's not something not defined. So a strategy should be super clear. And then to make a strategy like actualized real, it has to be coupled with goals and tactics. So acts, what do we do? So once we get to that level and we can do it right away and evaluate and change, it becomes real. So there cannot be a strategy that it's not done, or else we're not doing business, or there is the wrong consultancy. So strategies are there once you know the client, what they want, and we put the strategy and how do we make this happen. So it has to come like this. There is this pyramid, you have to go through it, or else there will be a gap or there's something missing. So
Exactly.
it applies to the aviation world and to any.
So there isn't something specific for the aviation world that we can mention at this stage.
Yes, we can, but we can because, also it's a different type of, even if you're talking aviation, airline is different from a tourism office or a tourism board or a hotel or hospitality because they all go maybe under the same bracket. So, and when are we talking about it now after COVID? Let's say we're talking tourism in Asia. There is a different way of looking at things. Okay, are you selling the way you sell, you present yourself? Yes, there is a niche and there is a way to talk about business and strategies and consulting with the aviation world that is niche to them. Yes, but to be very detailed, you want to talk about this?
No, not really. Let's not go in depth. I just wanted to understand how you lay your strategies and how you adapt them for this specific sector? Because I know it's a huge sector. However, it's a niche category, and you're specialized in it. And I'm intrigued to understand your direct approach and your expertise inside this ecosystem, if we can call it.
Okay, I will give you something related to that. So clearly, let's pretend it's a specific business. So because it could be a technology company, an airline, a tourism, a hotel, a chain. Okay, so we sit with this client and we see what do they want? Why are they reaching out for a consultancy? And then we do the due diligence of what was the past, where are they now, from the financial, from their objectives, employees numbers, you can, let's call it a SWOT analysis, whatever, the pastel, whatever analysis you can do. Okay, so they provide you information to also build your own idea about what is this airline going through, let's say, and where are they living. We're thinking about Dubai, for example. You don't have to have problems to go to a consultant. Okay, you just want to grow, you want to be more successful, you want to partner with other airlines in the region, let's say, and government to talk together. So we build this web and map of things that you can possibly do. Then we work on the strategy, we suggest something, and work on the tactics. Okay, and how we do the partnering, the networking, not just technical stuff and business stuff. It's also about building bridges. So it's even a more 360 degrees. It's a global business. So there is the economical, financial, regulatory, what's happening today, political. There is so much to take into consideration. There is research and putting the puzzle together and discussing it with the client and discussing the future and having this prospect about
and paving the way and planning the next steps.
Yes, because nothing comes as a strategy and you don't have a vision. So and then there is all aspects that could affect this vision. So they should be taken into consideration. And the aviation world is volatile. So it's affected by fuel, by currencies, by war, by borders, by, I don't know, so everything, by nature. If a volcano happens, everything, it's a disruption that affects directly the aviation and the hospitality world. So that is also something very niche to the aviation world, and how do you take it into consideration is important.
Exactly what I wanted to hear, because every sector, every category, and every industry has its own variables and like stuff to take into consideration while crafting your strategies, because the execution will rely on different aspects and it will change and adapt along the way with the evolution of everything happening in that industry. So I just wanted to understand more your approach to these strategies and how you're consulting these businesses. And you mentioned some of the problems that can occur, but I would like your input on the Middle East as a region, not in the aviation and tourism industries, but you as a consultant. What specific problem are you spotting in the Middle East region that you would like to highlight?
A specific problem related to businesses doing business.
Businesses, entrepreneurship, anything that can come up.
Yes. So for me, the first thing that comes up, especially we're talking about in the Middle East, is the political aspect and the challenge of that, that can trigger this, challenge of making the actual business happen, or the actual partnership, or the financial growth, this threat. It doesn't have to be war, but let's say there is so much happening in certain region of the Middle East that which could be very bad for some countries and actually could be the benefits for other countries. So whether it's a challenge here, it's something good maybe for others. So there is this aspect that challenges the businesses in the Middle East. So you have to be fit for that mentally, fit for that as a business. Who are your partners? How do you function under pressure? And wow, I've worked a lot with many clients and businesses. And it's not just businesses that live in a threatened zone. The businesses who are far from this threatened zone are also affected by that. There's so much happening also because of this like, let's say, cloud of changes and uncertainties, as we say, this volatility in certain things, many things, we can list them, is creating this uncertainty in the business world for many entrepreneurs or businesses, small to medium size, and even the big companies. So how to build that part of your strategy? It is very important, because or else you're always going to be running like a chicken, not knowing what to do or losing momentum. So you have to be fit for that. And it takes certain talents, certain practice. I'm not sure if training helps, but it helps, because I've worked with people and they live in another planet.
Sometimes
Like,
it doesn't.
some regions, they've never lived challenge situation. They used to go to work. When they lived COVID, and I see the reaction of business people, and even since I went to college in the UK, I could always see the difference. Me coming from Lebanon, we've been always challenged, so it was built in, and I see how they live their life. So there is this way of everything is going to be the same for the next 30 years. It doesn't work this way, and now everyone knows it doesn't work this way. Even the people living it still, they started questioning their lifestyle, business style, and so there is this factor that now is important. Nobody can avoid it, or else you're gonna sink.
Exactly what you're saying. You made me think about an example of these kung fu movies and fight combats where you see this kid that goes and lives in a remote place, I don't know, in top of the mountain with some teachers and instructors, and he gets into daily uh, shitty routines and high intensity trainings, and they hit him with some, I don't know, a bat on a daily basis, and he will hit the tree till he breaks his knuckles and stuff like that. So I painted the same picture in my mind while you were talking about Lebanon and the preparation phase, because someone that was brought up in the Middle East, and specifically in Lebanon, because we both are from there, it made you really be prepared for anything that can come up in your life. And it's really a good school, we can say. And I'm gonna also say and mention that we were lucky to be uh, living under these circumstances that were not easy, but that made us resilient, more prone to finding solutions, and to be proactive and not always reactive, because you will have to initiate a lot of set actions and to plan ahead of time and play with all the variables that might come up and come along the way. So
Yes,
thank you for that reminder.
yes. And I wish to add something about, like you just said it. You beautifully said it about this being living in a challenging environment. Is like, also, besides being prepared, it also puts you under pressure where you need to take a choice. Yes or no, again, like, do I continue with this? Do I grow it? Do I stop? So even that, the courage of continuing, uh, as a business decision, and also as a sane decision. So, and I see people really, I learn from them. So part of what I do as giving back to the community, I work with businesses in Lebanon, projects. I like them, entrepreneurs. I enjoy it. And I want to give them what I know and them to run with it, just like that, not for a fee or anything. Like, I do it with joy. And then these people, I check on them. And one of the businesses was yesterday, I talked to her. It was last year. And this woman wanted to open a center in Sul, in Tyre, where it's a beautiful city by the sea, yet challenge because it's in the south and so many things. And yesterday there was like a closer hit to the area and I just want to check on Maha, and I checked off on her, and she directly told me the same way we are talking these challenges, but she's continuing, she's doing the activities, and I encouraged her. And we talked a little bit about business. So there's always this. So you get this motivation from someone who is an expert. So because she trusts me, so I gave her some tips on some things, but I cannot remove the thread. But it's her choice to decide with courage to continue with her. But I know this woman will be successful, and I always tell her that. even if you close one day your training center, because she opened a training center for youth, can you imagine, on her own? And then I told her, even if you close it, you're learning a lot. You're going to be great wherever you do this. So, and I believe in that.
That training center is a training center for her first, and then it's a training center for the public.
Yes.
Because she's learning a lot from it, especially in these times and in the area that she's in. But I do believe in its essence, and it's crucial to be there, especially in that area. Moving on to a bit of marketing aspects. So wrapping up on the aviation and tourism sectors, with your extensive experience, how do you approach the unique marketing needs for that sector?
So marketing needs for aviation and tourism, like
super
there is
tricky
a lot,
industry.
and it depends. Yes, and it's complex, by the way, and it's super interesting. So because there is a lot that requires to be told to the public, the travelers, who are these industries aimed at serving in the first place, at least in our era. Okay, it's the movement of people, the experience of these people, how to get from A to B safely and in a fun way, good service, etc., etc. And the tourism, like how they are received, where do they stay, the experience in that country. So marketing, of course, is major. But what kind of marketing, I would say, and when and how, and the quantity, or like the scope of the marketing. When I say what kind of marketing is, what information do we want to tell this traveler, whether it's a business traveler, leisure traveler, now there is the be leisure, the mixed things, you name it, different generations, different aspirations. You can categorize
It's really on the rise.
It starts.
Everyone is combining business and leisure now. That's the new thing.
It's amazing. I'm going more into that because I love it, and there is a lot, like, people are really amazing and unique in why they choose the travel. Okay. So besides the expertise, if you're going for sports, for vacation, for fun, for a spa, all of that as well. It starts also, what do we want to tell about these industries? Whether we are business owners or we are an expert talking to them, or is it a country? So the scope will change, yet telling the truth. And what do I mean by truth? Because, there is this tendency of everyone saying we are great. Okay, we have a hotel, it's great. This way that this
everyone is number one. All the companies are the first in everything and number one in everything.
So in my opinion, the marketing aspect should be very selective and smart, smart and subtle, with what words do we want to use? What are we going to talk about this? Not everyone has to be like, I don't know, Shangri-La or the Ritz or you name it. Like, you just, what is your brand? Who are you? Where do you want to be? Who are you serving? Like, and then say it. Okay, be proud of it. Even if you are a cheap tent under a tree, there are people who wants to choose that. Okay, and you don't want the tourists who want something else come to you and be angry at you. So, what do we want to tell is very important in this phase of our travel era. I think it's very interesting to work on. And there could be a lot that I could say about these two things and about marketing. Like, this is a great subject to talk about. I would love to. It's very strategic because it's gonna show who you are now, where do you want to be, and are you fulfilling that promise? And how do you do it? Do you follow up on it? Like, what's the tactics? What to do as a country, as a company, as an airline, as a hotel brand? Eco places, tourism is about boutique hotels, ideas that are happening. Conscious hotels. Okay. So,
thank you for summarizing all of these elements. And yes, it's all around the fundamentals. And of course, you'll have to be profitable at the end of the day. But building the strategy is one thing, building the brand is another, and they should be going hand in hand in order for them to deliver the sales at the end of the day and matching all these objectives and vision of the whole company. So yes, it doesn't take one thing or one aspect. And thank you for summarizing it.
This will also come in line because marketing is also things that you use. Like you can use them in marketing strategy.
Of course, and your storytelling and your brand message, tone of voice.
Yeah,
100%. I love it. So we spoke about the tourism and the aviation and that industry that you love a lot. But now I'm interested to know more about Mouna Moussi, the entrepreneur, the solopreneur that started. You're now an entrepreneur. You're a founder and co-founder in different aspects. How do you market yourself?
I need to work on it.
We all do.
What do I do? Like, of course, now I am the brand. You know, you see my website, mounamoussi.com. So because I was shifting industries, people were surprised. Actually, where are you living? Are you getting married? This way, people. So I and actually not because I was great and what I was doing. They were curious about me. Yet I had to prove myself also in the other industry because it doesn't function like this. Because wow, now I want to do some consulting with you. No, they're going to go to, I don't know, the 4 big names in the world. Everyone knows more. So I reached out, of course, you need to network. Yet where do you network? What's most important is what's my strategy? I have a strategy of how I work. I know my talents, I know what I want to do, and I know where I want to spend my time. I don't want to spend my time knocking on doors that I connect, network, hello, but I choose what I want. This is the marketing strategy. I target big companies, whether big, selective, with certain expertise and global territory and coverage, and you know, which so these people work. I do the due diligence, I spend that. So I need partners with enjoy working together, and then they want to work with me more, and I grow, and then next.
So it's mostly outbound marketing.
It's not. No, it's because of experience. So they talk about me. And so I don't think, me being a business professional, I'm not doing marketing. Okay. That's why it's not like it is built in, but not the way as a business owner. But because also I have priorities. When I have a client, right? So my stuff take a full marketing event. Imagine me, consultant. This is just between us. I name marketing as administrative
no one will know that. It's between us. No one will know this.
Yes, don't look back. Don't take notes.
You were mentioning something that I would like to bring in before we wrap up our lovely session. I believe we can go on and on for hours talking about businesses and marketing and you and about yourself. But you said that when you were leaving the corporate life and the corporate world, everyone was asking you if you're leaving just to get married. And that popped in another question. If you are to be a successful entrepreneur, should you put marriage on the side? Or it's something not related to your ambitions and your drive and it will not take time? Do you prioritize your work on that?
It's very pertinent and unique every person. But of course, we all know, so firstly, I'm not married. So others, it's about, yes, you need to organize families, and whether the father or the mother saw duty, like it takes time. So for me, of course, on a certain level, you want to reach your family, time you spend with them, how much time you spend in your, many women entrepreneurs who have businesses and they juggle between both and they're super happy and successful. How you are, how your life supports you. How can you create a life that supports you? Not you running around. I believe in that, even in business. So we are so lucky to be living in here. We have things to serve us. Better. Do it, I pay you for it. And even like this, so I believe it doesn't stop. Actually, it helps. Because then you're creating something, certain model that is a good example for your kids. If you have a husband, you have support. So yeah.
So you're still open to the idea, and it's not something that was put aside. And I'm happy to hear that, and I wish you all the best in your next phase in your life. Mouna, what final piece of advice would you give to our listeners who aspire to reach similar heights in their careers, particularly in developing a holistic approach to their professional and personal lives?
Advice. So from my learnings and personal quest in life, anyone who has something in them triggering them to do something, whether you are employed, not employed, looking for things, or employed and you want to, like when there is this questioning talk to yourself, just write down your thoughts, write down your challenges, write down your fears, talk about them to yourself. You want to talk and find a way. Just express yourself. That's small. If you are someone who has that, it's gonna be so. Why not explore it? And it's amazing. So it's just another life, and it's great how people lived their lives up and years. And I think this whole structure of way of living has changed. Before it was a choice. I think now you have to raise kids like this, who know how to function on their own. And yet, if this is your way, it's your way. But for the others, just do it. How you will lead your life. You will know what you need, what your strengths. When do you want to travel? When you don't travel, how deep aspect, the financial, the personal, and we can do it the way we want, or it's complicated in their head. It's illusion. Everything you set yourself to, you put it in motion, you're gonna do it. So I believe we create our lives the way we want it. It's not someone created it for us, or it's us.
Everyone is responsible. Exactly. Everyone is responsible for their own lives, and they are able to create it the way they want. But they just have to trust in themselves and in their capabilities and do it.
And
It
actually,
will
the
happen.
world and the universe is there for us to support us.
Exactly. But if you don't trust in yourself and in your capabilities, then no one else will, even the universe. So it starts
If you
within.
don't jump, do it.
Awesome reminder.
Yes, and if you don't do it, you will not know.
You will not know that you can also. But you have to start somewhere, right? Thank you for the lovely reminder, Mouna. Thank you so much
you.
for
It was
this
an
amazing talk. I really loved it. I wish you the best of luck, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, I'm very thankful that you reached out, and I love your questions, way that you let me buy. It's what I am. It could be the first time I'm really I hope
I know the feeling. Yeah, but now you'll enjoy the episode. Thank you so much. Lovely to have you.